Hi, my name is Megan Dempsey, and I'm excited to tell you about the learning module I created for the OCTOPUS project. The module is called The Value of Open Scientific Information, and it brings together related and complementary components of open science, information literacy, and open pedagogy. The Association of College and Research Libraries has identified core concepts that are central to information literacy. Students who understand these concepts and develop competencies and dispositions around them will be better equipped as informed and responsible consumers and creators of the vast amounts of information they will encounter both in their education and in their lives. One of these core concepts is the idea that information has value. Broadly, this concept is defined as an understanding that information possesses several dimensions of value. It is a means of education, it is a commodity, it can be used as a means to influence, and as a means of negotiating and understanding the world. Recognizing that information has value also means acknowledging that legal, socioeconomic, historical, and even political interests influence information production and dissemination. At a basic level, teaching the information has value concept tends to focus on learning citation practices and ethically using information created by others. But when it comes to open science, students can be asked to think much more deeply about the value that is ascribed to scientific information in different spaces and for different people. The information has value concept can be broadly applied to the sciences by recognizing that the production, dissemination, and application of scientific information is a complex ecosystem. Within that ecosystem, power, monetary resources, and social capital influence how the information is accessed, how it's used, and how it's shared with others. Students begin to understand that science communities are both active and passive participants in an information economy. Scientists use information as a tool to solve scientific, medical, and technological problems. And the way in which they conduct their research, collaborate on or share their methods, and disseminate their findings has an impact that is much broader than just the scientific community. This is where the concept that information has value begins to intersect with open science. Open science practices influence the value that is ascribed to scientific information. By examining open science through the lens of the information has value concept, students gain a deeper understanding and appreciation of the value of scientific information and become more information literate. So this module can be used as a standalone module within an undergraduate course to introduce students to the information has value concept in the context of open science, and to engage students in production of an open pedagogy project to communicate the value of open scientific knowledge to another audience. Parts of the module could also be adopted to support other lessons instead of working through the entire module. It can be used by faculty who are introducing open science and want students to start engaging with ideas related to information access, information privilege, underrepresentation, and marginalization in systems that produce and disseminate information, and how open science impacts and is impacted by these issues. It can also be used by academic librarians to address the ACRL framework threshold concept information has value, specifically in the sciences, by considering certain knowledge practices and dispositions through the lens of open science. The module itself is built in Pressbooks, but editable and modifiable formats are available to you through the OCTOPUS page. Students can progress through the module, including seeing what their learning objectives are, and learning through content that is provided in a variety of ways, including text-based, videos, reflection questions, and external resources. If your institution uses Pressbooks, you can clone the content right to your own network so that you can make modifications within Pressbooks itself. An instructor guide is provided to give you more information about the learning module and the 3 parts of it. Included in the instructor guide is some guidance for different activities and reflection questions throughout the parts, just to give you a sense of what I was thinking students might benefit from when it comes to certain activities or discussions that you might prompt. There is also a set of resources at the end of the instructor guide so that you can find any of the external resources that have been provided in the modules. In the spirit of open pedagogy, the content in the module is intended to be flexible for your use. So I have included TED Talks and other external articles that I think undergraduates would be able to understand and work with. However, you may want to swap out my examples with ones that are more relevant to your specific discipline or the learners that you have in front of them. The dive deeper into part of the module allows students choice in exploring an aspect of open science that has not been addressed in the module already, but is still relevant to the concept of information has value. Again, in the spirit of open pedagogy, I wanted to provide students with a few choices for how they might direct the rest of their learning. You may add to this list. You may choose that these are not the aspects of open science that should be the focus in your course and change them out completely. I hope that you will experiment with the concepts of open science that intersect with the value of information and provide your students with resources and opportunities to think about ideas that are most relevant to them. The final part of the module is an open pedagogy project where students are asked to select something that they learned about or another aspect of open science that maybe they have encountered through their learning and are really passionate about, and to select an advocacy position that they think should be communicated to others. So there are steps for the Open Pedagogy Project listed here, including identifying an issue that they feel strongly about, identifying an audience that they think should know about this issue, and identifying an audience and creating information appropriate for that audience is another key information literacy skill that our students will be learning. They develop an advocacy position and create a product in a format that is appropriate for that audience. So this might come in a series of social media posts or a reel. This may be a blog post that they want to write. It may be a poster. It may be flyers for around campus. You may set parameters around what format your students choose or leave it wide open. Again, you know your students best. But the idea here is that the students have choice in what they are advocating for and in the most appropriate way of communicating their message to an audience. By incorporating this module into your introduction to open science for students, you will be encouraging them to think beyond just the sciences and to think about how scientific information is valuable in different spaces, to different audiences, and in different ways. Thank you.